When you're spending this much on a premium OLED TV, you probably expect every movie to look incredible. The surprising part is that while both the Samsung S90H and the Sony BRAVIA 8 II deliver fantastic picture quality, they create two very different movie experiences. One focuses on making every scene feel brighter and more dynamic, while the other concentrates on reproducing films as naturally as possible. The difference isn't immediately obvious, but once you notice it, it becomes difficult to ignore. If you're already leaning towards Samsung or Sony, let me know in the comments before we get started. By the end of this comparison, you might find yourself looking at these TVs in a completely different way. For movie lovers, contrast is everything, and that's where OLED technology already has a huge advantage. Since every pixel can turn on and off individually, both TVs produce deep blacks without the blooming you often see on LED televisions. Dark scenes look clean, bright highlights stand out beautifully, and the overall image feels incredibly immersive. The difference comes from how each company processes that image. Samsung's S90H delivers a picture that immediately grabs your attention. Thanks to OLED HDR+, its advanced AI processor and higher brightness capabilities, HDR movies often appear more vibrant and impactful, especially during scenes filled with bright highlights, explosions, sunsets, or city lights. If you enjoy movies that really pop off the screen, Samsung creates a presentation that feels exciting from the very first scene. Sony takes a more restrained approach, and for many movie enthusiasts, that's exactly the point. Its XR processor with AI focuses less on creating a dramatic effect and more on preserving natural textures, realistic skin tones, and subtle shadow detail. Instead of making everything look brighter, it tries to maintain balance across the entire image, giving movies a refined, cinematic look that's easy to enjoy during long viewing sessions. This is where things start to get interesting. Sony also includes studio-calibrated picture modes designed for services like Netflix and Sony Pictures Core, along with support for Dolby Vision, IMAX Enhanced, and Dolby Atmos. These features work together to recreate content much closer to the way filmmakers intended. If your evenings usually revolve around watching the latest movies in a dark room, the BRAVIA 8 II creates an experience that feels remarkably close to a dedicated home theater. If you're curious about today's pricing, I've linked both TVs below because premium OLED models frequently go on sale, and depending on current discounts, the better value can change surprisingly quickly. That doesn't mean Samsung falls behind. Its NQ4 AI Gen 3 processor continuously analyzes every scene to improve sharpness, motion, and overall clarity. Older movies, lower resolution streaming content, and everyday TV shows all benefit from AI upscaling, helping content look cleaner and more detailed on a large 4K screen. If your viewing habits include everything from classic films to YouTube, live TV, and streaming platforms, Samsung's versatility becomes one of its biggest strengths. However, your viewing environment matters just as much as picture processing. If your living room has large windows or plenty of natural light, Samsung's glare-free technology makes a noticeable difference by reducing distracting reflections that can pull you out of the movie. Instead of constantly adjusting curtains or changing your seating position, you can simply focus on what's happening on screen. Sony shines brightest once the lights go down. In a darker room, its combination of precise OLED contrast, natural color reproduction, and cinema-focused processing creates a picture that feels incredibly authentic without appearing artificially enhanced. So which one would I choose for movies? If your goal is building the closest thing possible to a true home theater, I'd lean toward the Sony BRAVIA 8 II because its image processing, Dolby Vision support, and filmmaker-focused features create an outstanding cinematic experience. But if you watch movies in a brighter room, enjoy a more vibrant HDR presentation, or want one TV that also excels at gaming and everyday entertainment, the Samsung S90H becomes an incredibly compelling alternative. Before making your final decision, check today's prices and read a few buyer reviews using the links below. Since these are both premium OLED TVs, even a relatively small price difference can completely change which one delivers the better value for your home theater setup.